We are your connection to the sound that surrounds you.
Hit music belongs here.
I got the keys to the city.
This is Vicinity FM 95.3.
Beautiful afternoon. I am delighted to be here. It's Friday. Who does not love a Friday? Friday is not like every other day. Friday, it's a day that's supposed to give you joy because we are, entering into that period where we get a little rest. Yeah, for people who work Mondays to Sundays, I understand, but still, there's still this. The pressure is down on a Friday. Because you feel, no pressure. If I can walk through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, kilo shele, Friday, we have tried. So, any work left in in the rest of the week, it will be a walkover. We've tried. Monday used to be this day where we just feel this. I just have to go out there and do something serious, even from putting on a outfit. You just want to look so old, looking sharp and looking super duper on a Monday because you just want to get things right on Monday. They say whatever you do for the first day in the week, set your tone for the week. And then they say if you fail on Monday, you might eventually fail all the rest of the day. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in such theories that if you don't get things right on Monday, if you don't start your week well, that then the rest of the week will be bad for you. I don't believe in that. No, maybe you not starting your week well is even a pointer for you to look in another direction, for you to see the problem on time and fix it. There's just this narrative we always put out there that seems like if things happen like this is what this is the consequences. I don't believe in those things, that kind of narrative. I'm not the one who like to think there's just one route to a place. A popular saying, Yoruba will say, one way does not lead to the market. And true, because the market is a big place. So there are many junctions, many routes that leads to the market. And eventually, if we all take the different routes, we'll get to where we are going. Abike. I'm Olua Funke Israel. It's good to be here again on Women's Talk. Yeah, what do we do on Women's Talk? Just do girl talk. I know when they say it's girls talk, say it's gossip. I don't believe that. There used to be a time when we have girls talk and they say it's all gossip. Well, we can't remove gossip out of women's life, but let's stop pretend like men do not gossip. What does that mean? It means, somehow we get to talk, and when we talk, we don't talk about ourselves alone. And when you are not talking about yourself or the person who you're in conversation with, they say it's gossip. No wala. Dictionary, that's the dictionary explanation to what gossip is. But eventually, when we get to talk about something, it means that there's something to be talked about. And you know what they say, that when you talk about something, especially when there's a problem, it means we're talking about it. We may eventually find solution. When we say when you sit in a question enough, the answer comes to you. And it's true. If you think I'm running away from this question, I don't want to face this thing, then you will never find an answer. But the moment you sit in that question long enough, you just keep asking yourself, how can I do this? How can I fix this? And you sit there wondering. People say, wait, in gonna leave it. Say, no, I think I really want to get an answer today. Eventually, you will be surprised that an answer will come to you. It won't jump on you, but you keep thinking, and the moment you're trying to think to provide a solution, think about something that would eventually help you, solve that problem. When you sit long enough in the question, the answer will sure find you. And that's the thing. So when you hear women are talking, what are they saying? Sometimes, especially when it's a physical gathering, and they say, what are those girls doing there? They are gossiping. It's men's talk. It's this talk. You people should be calming down. It's not all the time we gossip. Sometimes we're just thinking about our lives out loud, and we're having this conversation. So when women talk, so there used to be a time when we're growing up as girls, especially when you live with girls, when your house is full of girls, and then we talk. Yeah, I know. Then we used to talk. When we go to church, we come back and we say, did you see that guy? His shirt, it has hole. 5 hole. See the color, he's already red, he's stubborn white, and it's a white shirt. We all do that, and it's normal. Is it good? No. But sometimes we get to drop some of these habits as we grow up. Now you can't imagine, you don't expect us to come again and keep talking about some guy. Now that we're all grown up, that used to be there. That was there when we're youth, when we're young, when we're teens. We don't really have much to talk about. But the way the world is evolving these days, even as teenagers are saying, they're discussing big things, how to get things happening. Because the world we're in, internet, is making you look like if you don't make it before 25, your life is finished. It's a lie. I tell you, that's not true. But the thing is, the way the world is fashioned these days, they just make it look like the minute, if you're born today, tomorrow, you should start working. With the next, you should start jumping trees. But life is not like that. Life is a process. So back to women's talk. These days, you see women come together, not necessarily gossip. That's the least of it. We're trying to catch up on life. What's happening? What's going on? We're having good discussion. We're discussing something important to our lives. We just want to have these conversations. And gone are those days when women don't have something to talk about. They say our role is somewhere behind. No, women are taking the front lines now. They're in front lines, making decisions and making good one for that matter. You can join the conversation this afternoon on Facebook and also YouTube at Vicinity 95.3 FM. But this afternoon, I want to gossip. You say, what kind of gossip? When we hear the word gossip, like most times it's a dirty word. But sometimes, people talk when something is going on, and not because they want to talk about other people, but they are concerned that something is going on with you, and let's do something. So women talk about this a lot. Now, and this brings me to, if you go on the media these days, you hear women who have been battered, who have suffered domestic violence. Now, it's painful, but I'm still going to talk about this story, because if we don't talk about it, how do we learn from it? It's something that happens, people's experience, painfully, though sometimes this experience would have affected some people and even cost them their lives. But we still have to talk about it and learn from it, because if we don't, so how are we going to move away from there? Now, you hear every time, women suffer domestic violence, women are threatened in their home, women even out there, you hear. And today brings me to one of the reports, President Bola Tinubu decided, to bring up this initiative defending, children, especially children, saying that we are going to make strict laws that would help protect children and violence against children. Why do you think this? Because children are vulnerable. They really cannot make decisions for themselves, and a lot is going out there, violence against children. Now, if people can sit down, people will make laws and think that what better ways can we reduce this violence against children. Then when we talk about women, separate children from women. What makes the difference? Women are vulnerable, children are vulnerable. but women are still have the opportunity, to make good decisions. You have good judgment. Children, they don't have good judgment of things. That's why they're children in the first place. But women, they have good judgment. And if we say we don't talk about things, how do we get to find a solution? That's why I say this might sound like gossip, but it's not gossip, because gossip is always a dirty word. So you see a woman struggling. Now, we all would just want to keep quiet, either in our community or in our environment. So I see many cases when domestic violence is reported. People in that environment, they know. There's no how a woman will suffer domestic violence, and a neighbor, the people in that neighborhood will not know. Even if the man would lock all the windows, close all the doors, and do everything, just to show her that he's the man. But somehow people will know that this woman is not happy in this marriage, even if they don't really understand or have a glimpse of what's going on. They just know that something is wrong with this woman, and we would eventually figure out. So people would know. And then if you now say, people don't talk about it, is another woman's home, you want to destroy, don't say anything, keep quiet, it's none of your business, mind your business, you're a busybody in other people's matter. It's okay, it's all right. But until when that thing happens close to you, what do I mean when it happens to you? When somebody close to you, somebody dear to you is now the victim, you will understand. So that's why I say there are sometimes we don't say, it's not my business, I will not talk. No, you have to talk. You really have to lend your voice at this point. Because at this point, this is not gossip. This is not you being a busybody in other people's matter. This is you, trying to help a woman who is about to be silenced. And if we don't speak out, she might be silenced forever. Now, why am I going to this point? You remember recently, there's this judgment over this very popular gospel artist who passed on. And people say it was cancer until there were investigation. Recently, the husband was sentenced to death by hanging. I'm not even going to jump into the sentence and all of that, because for me, I always say if we can save the situation or save the day, we'll still love that the woman is here. Let us even catch the person like this. At this point, she's gone, and then now we're just trying to find justice somewhere, at least to say that, yeah, of course, justice should take its course. So let's have a case like this where the woman is here, the man is here. Then we now say, okay, this man, you've done enough. This woman, go and take care of your children. And then let's just, you two go your separate ways for now. You face the wrath of the law, and go find something to do, help yourself. It's not when the whole situation has now gone bad, then we now start to talk about it. So it's important that we start to talk about these things, if we're not talking about it. That's why do you think, international communities, bodies, organizations, they always come together to be forming conference, and you hear how the money they pour into this conference. This year alone, you hear UN, you hear AU, you hear this conference, you hear COP20, this COP, that COP. People are coming together. We have to have conversations, Yeah, Nigeria is Nigeria, but Nigeria cannot survive alone. Nigeria needs to partner with other countries, to bring some ideas in, let's rub minds together and collaborate, and it's important. And that's why you see the nations are always coming together, holding one conference, summit or the other, to find solution. So there is always something to talk about. Now, this is just on that level. Now, bringing it to, personal issues. Why won't we talk about it? Now say I'm doing busybody in other people's matter. Okay, or maybe your own matter, but in other people's matter. I don't do busybody. I can see, and what I'm saying, I don't like it, so I have to speak up. And today we need to, help women learn how to speak, learn how to speak up and speak up on time. That's another thing, because time is important in everything. Because you might think there's still time, it will change. And let's not even just look at domestic aspects, on the side of the women, on the part of the men too. So men too suffer domestic violence. But I'm sorry, this one is women's talk. So I'm here, I'm a woman, and I'm just focusing on the conversation today on women. So it's just going to be about women. Women should learn how to speak up. Sometimes they feel if they talk, it will be, I'm reporting. Even when the person is not your husband yet, so you're in a relationship, you are in a toxic relationship and you know that this is not working for me, you just keep managing because you don't want the person, you don't want other people or people who think this is something good going for you, they're happy for you, and when you now go back to them, you think they will laugh at you. Please, eventually I will tell you that maybe you should change that circle, because if you feel this is a community, people, my inner circle that I trust, if they trust that this relationship is good, and I feel I'm the one in the relationship and it's not going well, I can still come back to you and say, see guys, what do you think? Something is going on. That's why men always beat us to this game. No matter how men try to cover something, they still find just one person or their inner circle to talk with. The moment the shoe starts to itch them, they will start talking. Men don't know how to keep things, honestly. They just say, I know they feel this thing, guys, wetin I think. See, they don't, they put your matter for table. Are you still they keep quiet, they talk, say I'm preserving. You're preserving what? There's nothing to be preserved, so you have to speak up. Now, speaking up is not you being afraid. It's you seeking. Be sure that whatever you're disturbing yourself about is worth it. That's what people don't understand. Have conversation, because you are the one in the relationship, you are the one in love, you are the one drunk in love, so you need help, because love is already blinding on your sight. You can't see again. So you need people who have eyes, who are not in this, who their judgments will not be clouded by the feelings of love. You need them to see with another eyes, and you should be people you can trust, who will give good judgments, who will be objective about it. Not people who say, I said it, that guy, I knew from the onstart that he's not a good guy. Sometimes when people make such statements, you just feel you people don't cuckoo want it to work. That's why you're putting your mouth. 08132371268. Do you think women should always learn to speak up? Speaking up is not fear. Speaking up is not weakness. Speaking up is not that you just cannot close your mouth. There are some times that this is when I should speak up, and I will do it anyways, because if I don't, something may happen, and I would not like such thing to happen. Why do you think they say communication is the greatest of all? When you live love, they say love is the greatest of everything in the world. Yeah, because when there are a lot of things people can touch and destroy, but love, you can't touch and destroy love, because it's not something you can see. Something we share, and what you cannot lay your hands on, you cannot destroy. If something is physical, we can touch it, it occupies space, we can easily trample on it. But when something I feel inside, you don't even know what is the extent of how I feel these things. No, it's hard for you to destroy it. You might try, but you will not win, and that's it. So it's important for us to know when we live love. They say love is the greatest force in the universe. That's the saying. Love is the greatest force in the universe. That's what they say. Next is communication. Communication, they say, is the greatest pleasure of life. So no matter how you find yourself in a loving relationship, if you are not communicating, the pleasure is already out. So people always think pleasure is, when there's butterflies, when the man is giving me all the love. Communication brings, it's also a pleasure on its own. So that's why you see sometimes when a union is not working, they say it's because of lack of communication. Yeah. And this is been proven. Love is the greatest force in the universe. Communication is next, honestly. And you see that a nation that's not communicating we lose it. Because when we communicate, we know that there's a problem, we want to solve it, we want to be better. So communication is the greatest pleasure of life. And if you are not enjoying it even where you work, when there is no communication, you'll be frustrated. And when you are in a loving relationship too, no matter how good this person is, there is no communication, you will be frustrated. And this brings me back to that word by Larry King, which says love is the greatest pleasure of life. Communication. Sometimes I want to turn it and say, love should be the greatest pleasure of life. Say, no, it's not love. Love is the greatest force. Yeah, when we have that, we can move mountains. But when we talk about the greatest pleasure of life, it is communication. And then I get to understand. Now, see people who something is working for them, either it's a place of their business or job or relationship or marriage. Communication. you know, if you remove communication from that relationship, it's gone, it's dead. People will tell you 25 years, 35 years we've been in this relationship. One thing that has worked for us is communication. Not because they were perfect partners. Nobody is perfect. But learn to communicate and learn when to communicate. Learn when it's okay to communicate and see reasons. This is how we get to move. So as a woman as well, learn to always communicate your feelings, what you're feeling. If you cannot do that with your partner, that one is even gobe. We have to start talking. They say women, we don't talk. And I always say men will talk. That's why it's easy for a man to always get out of a relationship or walk away. Because the moment they start raising, a case for themselves, their friend also will start looking out for them and say, if you say this woman is like this, don't worry, we'll put an eye on her. Not necessarily monitoring her up and down, but they will start to observe. Because he has made a point that I think something like this is happening. So they will start to look for something that will give that woman away. So if the men are talking, why can't we women talk? Because at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, they say, now women cause her. Now that woman cause her. I know it's that lady. She's the one. We know, we're sure. It's Women's Talk on Vicinity 95.3 FM. Be right back.
See me now, 'cause I can't see you now. That you see me now.
So before I go on the show this afternoon, why do you think women do not talk? One, fear of being shamed. Women, they are easily shamed. When a man talk, they be like, yeah, walk out, Jerry, I beg, babes. Fish there everywhere, plenty fish there inside water. And the man will walk away without batting an eye. But a woman, people will shame you and say, you can't keep a man. That is why. You see your life. So women are afraid to talk. Because when you raise concern that, that man, is this, is that, you'll be like, So this one is not good again for you, Abi. This one is not good again. Time is going, This one is not a good man. This man that is kind is nice to you. Auntie, please, don't let, turn this thing, just oppose this thing. There's difference between a good person and a good time. Maybe that man is just giving you, allowing you have a good time, takes you out, all these treats. We all like treats. Treats is good, don't get me wrong. I mean, go like it, treats. Where are we going Saturday? I want to know. Is it Bahamas, Abi, all the big name people used to call it, where you're going on vacation? Is good. But sometimes we always think the good time is better than the good person. No, I'm after the good person. Because if I eventually settle for the good things I'm enjoying, if the person is now not a good person, the good things will go away. I will now face the badding person. So that's the point. Women are afraid to talk because they're afraid that people will start to shame you. One.
Beautiful woman, so fine, she causing confusion. Keep your head up, no look down. You say to yourself, can you see me?
Two, you're afraid to speak up because when you start to speak up, people also will start to tell you to look in another direction, and you're afraid that it might be hard for you to get in on something good again. So maybe we should manage this one. It's okay. Instead of saying no and then move forward and be single again and remain on your own. Do I even know if there is a good one out there? Let me cuckoo sit down with this one. It's okay. It's okay. But is that your final decision? Is that it?
One in a billion. She a queen, she a vision. Pretty woman. Beautiful.
And another thing, women don't like to speak up because you think time is not on my side. One, you don't want to be shamed. Two, you feel like this is the best thing I've ever heard. Is there anything better than this? You think you don't stand a chance. So that's it. One, you don't want to be shamed. Two, think you don't stand a chance at good things.
She said to me,
And three, you're considering time. Would you rather start early and be miserable, or give it time and you settle for something that's good?
she causing confusion. Keep your head up, no look down. You say to yourself, Sure you want, cause it's on.
Now I know, yeah, there's this place where we have fear for the future, so we want to hold on to what's in the present because we're afraid nothing good will come in the future. But that present, are you sure that present will give you a brighter future? That's another thing, another, something you should think about. This present you're holding on to that you think is good, do you think it would hand you a better future? Because that present, you're going with that present into the future. Don't forget that. So if you're saying, this man is good enough, I don't think I stand a chance, that present is going with you into the future, except you're not thinking about the future. And if that thing now that you're considering a good thing in the present, if it travels with you into the future, do you think you will be happy? Because the future seems like there is no end to the future, because you don't know when all of us, maybe when he will go and you would go. The future is a long one.
Baby, God did this thing when he made you.
And lastly, fear of being alone. Yeah, men will tell you, me, I'm not ready. Men will always tell their parents, I'm not ready. People should stop bringing up this conversation. Even when mama will bring all the fine girls on the streets, his friends, ladies that they have made it in life, gentle, kind, and sweet, say, see, that girl, she's a medical doctor, she's a lawyer, she's working in this firm. Femi, Idrisi, Abdul, you better come and marry wife. Men will always tell you, I'm not ready. But it is evil when a woman decides to, stay alone and be sure. Until she's sure, then she can jump into it. Say, you want to be alone? You'll be sad. Who says? I've been sad. They are alone and they're still living alone. They're still doing their thing alone until they are ready. But they are not sad. So why do we always portray, a woman who is alone as sad and sad and sad?
With the way you dey move your body,
Trust me, being alone is not sweet though. True. But sometimes it's better to be alone than to be with someone who is not worth it.
not for nobody else.
Or you're not compatible, or you don't share the same value.
To me,
That's more of a torture.
woman,
It's a bigger torture than being alone, honestly.
in a billion, she a queen, she a vision.
I'm afraid I don't have much time on the show to go on. But I tell you, women, start to, share, communicate, and then think about yourself more than the other person.
Say to yourself,
So at the end of the day, if you're not happy, what's not the point?
cause I can't see you.
Let's do this again some more time next week on Women's Talk from the hour of 2:30 to 3 p.m. on Vicinity 95.3 FM. I'm your host this afternoon, Oluwafunke Israel. Catch you next week by God's grace. My executive producer, Ziyadishola Salami. Bye for now.
God did this thing when he made you. Woman to woman, you want it a billion. She a queen, she a
Vicinity FM 95.3. We need wilder sports.
For added value, Vicinity 95.3 FM is calling on individuals, public and private establishments to advertise their goods and services on Vicinity 95.3 FM, Ikejile, Ijesha, Osun State. With our wider reach in Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, Oyo, Kwara, and Kogi State, we are set to take your products and services to greater heights. For more information on advert placement and program sponsorship, please call Adeshola on 0810-862-9457. 0810-862-9457. We offer only premium services at Vicinity 95.3 FM.
We need wilder sports.
ṣé ká ṣòwò ká jèrè ká bòde pàdé ní àdúrà gbogbo olókoòwò ìdírò tí ìkànnì Vicinity 95.3 FM lórí òkè téńté nílùú Ìkejìlẹ̀ ilẹ̀ Ìjẹ̀ṣà Ọ̀ṣun lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà fi pé gbogbo àwọn oníléeṣẹ́ ńlá àtolókoòwò kéékèèké yálà iléeṣẹ́ ìjọba tàbí ti aládàáni ẹ tètè wá ṣẹ́jọ́là níbi tí orí ọlọ́lá ti gbé ńlá pẹ̀lú ìkéde àti ìpolówó ọjà eléyìí tí wọ́n ṣe níléeṣẹ́ Vicinity 95.3 FM tí ń bẹ lórí òkè téńté nítorí pé ìkéde tẹ́ bá ṣe lọ́dọ̀ wa ẹ máa tàtà jèrè ní sáà káàkiri gbogbo ibi ni wọ́n ti ń gbọ́ wa ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ìpínlẹ̀ Oǹdó Èkìtì ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ efimọ́ Kwara àti ìpínlẹ̀ Kogi bákan náà àwọn ìpínlẹ̀ mìíràn ni ò gbẹ́yìn fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé tàbí ẹ fẹ́ so òǹgbọ̀wọ́ kan tàbí òmíràn láwọn ètò wa ẹ pè Adéṣọlá sí 08108629457 08108629457 ìkànnì Vicinity 95.3 FM ìgbádùn yín ló jẹ wá lógún.
ẹ dá gírígírí ẹ máa bọ̀ kẹ́ sáré wá. Vicinity.
We lead while others follow. We lead while others follow. Vicinity FM 95.3. We lead while others follow. Àwa làgbà wọn. We lead while others follow. Aṣíwájú ni wá. Vicinity FM àwa ní bàbá. We lead while others follow. We lead while others follow. Vicinity FM ní kejìlẹ̀ o. We lead while others follow. Àwa lọ̀gá o. We lead while others follow. Adìẹ funfun àwa ṣá ní bàbá gbogbo. Àwa ní bàbá. Vicinity FM 95.3. Ẹranko tí ó ṣe bí olólàájú kò sí nígbó Àjíkẹ́ Adé. Erin lákàtàgbé erin àwa gòkè á lọ. Ìyẹ́lẹ̀ ó máa wò lẹ́yìn ẹyẹ wa. Lọ́jọ́kọjọ́ nígbàkúgbà bàbá ni bàbá ń jẹ́. Lọ́jọ́kọjọ́ nígbàkúgbà bàbá ni bàbá ń ṣe. We lead while others follow. We lead while others follow. Vicinity FM ọ̀gálá jẹ́ Adéọlá Noite ló ní ẹ̀ máa gbọ́. Mo fọwọ́ ẹ̀ sọ̀yà. We lead while others